Hey everyone, and welcome to day 23 of the Audiology Marketing Agency launch. Today we're going to talk about SOPs. So for those who don't know, standard operating procedures. It's something that I was very, very poor at implementing into my business in the early stages, and have really, really gotten good over the years at facilitating. The most important reason we're creating operating procedures. So actually there's two things. Number one, real businesses have procedures. Without procedures, it's just whoever's there doing the work and then them knowing what it is. So it's not, it's fully reliant on the individual rather than the process. So creating those processes is really important to the value of the company. And the second thing is the amount of efficiency and time savings that actually happen when you have operating procedures is absolutely critical. Very early on in my business, I didn't have it, and I would always wonder why I wasn't getting the output that I wanted, why I wasn't getting material back the way that I wanted it. It was very frustrating, and I realized that it was our fault, is that we didn't provide these very specific guidelines for people to follow, and everybody has different experiences doing work, right? So what this person did at this office might be totally different than what you want them to do. They might be called the same thing, but what they're used to is not that thing. So having a very specific operating procedure. So from a project management standpoint, we need everything to do with onboarding. So how to create the contracts, where to find the doc, what pieces of information to change, proposal management, creating a file for the customer in Google Drive so we can make sure, everything we need to keep for that client is in the right spot. Invoicing, tech connections. So when somebody comes on and signs up, we need them to give us access to a bunch of online properties so we can do our thing. And then just making sure we have a communications flow, so an internal and external flow. So a new customer comes on, they get a welcome email. The welcome email has this templated content. We are going to follow up with them on day 3 and 5 and 7 to check in on A, B, and C. So we want to have a flow of communication and content that's going to happen. On the advertising side, so, new onboarding checklist. So there's, get access to the Facebook page, make sure we have access to Google Analytics, Tag Manager, Search Console. There's a million different little things that we're going to need access to here. And so making sure that we have a checklist of everything that needs to be achieved. I put web as an unknown at this point because based on my conversation with the SEO guy the other day, which I'll share in a different video, in order for him to do his thing, we might have to be duplicating these people's websites. So I'm not happy about it, but we'll see where that goes. Again, the client comm flow is really, really important here. From the time that their campaign launches, what does the 4-day, 7-day, 14-day check-in look like? What are you supposed to say to them when you're sending them reporting? How do we want to speak to them? What should be included? So all of those things should be there. And then on the reporting side, when should that go out? What should be in it? What kind of language? Again, that's a little bit of the comm side, but the reporting is a really important thing. When you're giving somebody a monthly account of what's happened, there's very particular ways that you can say things that, something might be a little bit down, but if you say, oh, I'm so sorry, this is down, and if it's an acceptable margin of down, you're really shooting yourself in the foot, putting it out there that, you guys are doing this terrible job and you apologize. Like, that's not the language that you want to use there. So I'm really careful with my team about how we speak about the reporting. And it's not to say we're trying to manipulate it or we're making anything up, but there is a way that customers, there's a certain level that they understand. And so making sure that you're speaking to that level, because you start saying, oh, this went wrong, or this is below, this is below, this is below. And if it's not that far below, or it's an acceptable margin, all they hear is, oh, this is down, something's going wrong, it's not working. So you got to be really careful. And then from the sales, so the outreach steps, so the script that we're going to use to send videos, how to use the CRM, how the pricing protocols are, like what, how much leverage do they have, how many changes can they make within the pricing protocol, sales language documentation, how to track leads and follow up. So we'll have procedures for that. And then once the account comes on, how do they connect with the project manager and ops person, and who's supposed to do what? So I'm going to do another video tomorrow that talks a little bit about how we build these operating procedures. But today, these are the procedures that I need to make. So this is my checklist.